It's just a cool thing to be able to try and quantify behavior. If you can quantify it, you might be able to understand the patterns and help predict it, which is interesting because you could get some insights into yourself. Scary because it could be misused by governments or corporations, but ideally useful because you could use people's natural patterns of behavior to help change things for the good.
Typically mice are social animals, so they would like, when they see other mice, they want to interact with them. However, when they exhibit these depressive-like traits, they don't like to interact. Much like humans with depression, you get a lot of humans who don't want to mix with people, they want to spend time by themselves. So this is similar to, for example, you could say closely linked with PTSD. So if someone were to go and be in an environment where they're under constant physical harm, psychological stress, they can then exhibit depressive-like behaviors, which you see in the, of course, an issue in the media with military personnel coming back from wars, or people who are just in a very stressful situation.
We are judged by our ability to form and carry out goals, and so disruptions ever so slight in this ability have big consequences. So even something like acute stress can degrade working memory significantly. All behavior is tied to the brain, and so really the understanding of the brain is essential for our understanding of behavior.
We might say that that humans that invent rhythms that are adopted by culture have some kind of intelligent behavior. I think this kind of simple rhythm, I think, is innate. Certainly the exact pulse, right? Something like that. Obviously, that's the heartbeat, that's walking, all these patterns. But if you do a slight modification of something like this, and one mutation is, of course, to just remove a sound, right? But if you do a slight mutation like that, I think these things are hardwired through millions of years.
What I think is really interesting about the early modern theater at this moment is that there is the vital sense that what you do, what you perform, might actually stick. And the worry is that this performance might drastically alter the actor's body, that having entered into a part, the actor might not be able to come out of it.
Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak and despised old man.
Performance spaces are expressive spaces that actually affect the way people move and the way people express themselves. So the same show, in one stage may be rather different in a different stage. If you have a controlled environment and if you have a dancer moving, the only variation that you're going to get in the frames will be the variations caused by the movement. And of course, once you get that data, even though it's gathered through a very, very simple process utilizing very, very simple algorithms, then all of a sudden you can start devising systems, for example, that can react to the behavior of the dancer.
Cooperation may have evolved because people are willing to punish those who don't adhere to social norms. The worse the norm violation, the worse your punishment should be. If I litter, a little bit, I should be less likely to be punished than someone who litters a lot. And as it turned out, the answer was no. So this fundamental assumption in all sorts of models explaining the evolution of cooperation seems to be wrong. And the reason is a person who's doing something we all know they shouldn't be doing, like littering by throwing a bag or playing heavy metal music at night, this person knows what they're doing. And the people are very reluctant to confront them because they're afraid that, well, this person may retaliate.